All right, David, I think we could get going and
Right?
then as folks come in, they'll enter the session.
Okay,
All
did you
right.
push record?
It is being recorded.
Okay,
All right.
I gotta watch what I say. Any
Uh,
announcements? Our next session, we should say, is in 2 weeks. It's our third and final. And yeah, so we're looking forward to that and really looking forward to today. But anything you want to add, Jean?
yes, so just wanted to do some opening remarks. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining part two of our Sales Surge Boosting Your Bottom Line webinar hosted by Alterna Savings and presented by David Cohen, President and CEO of Your Big Venture. Welcome again. Thank you, everyone, for taking some time out of your day to be with us today. In addition, our partners from WagePoint will be talking about payroll solutions that automate the most time-consuming parts of payroll, and they will be coming up shortly after David's presentation has ended. Again, my name is Jean Barrett, and I'm the manager of Alterna's Community Microfinance Program. And joining me is my colleague, Mary Achabe, Credit Officer. Before we get started, I wanted to take some time to do some housekeeping items. All participants will be in listen-only mode. Questions can be submitted in the chat at the bottom. And lastly, this webinar will be or is being recorded and will be posted to our website tomorrow. Okay, so thank you so much. Please tune in. And I now happily turn it over to our facilitator, David.
Thank you so much. Um, Todd, you're in the Q&A. If you're okay to go in the chat, I'll send you the PowerPoint from last session, okay? It'll be the PDF version of it though, all right? So just answering a question beforehand. So welcome back, everybody. We had a little homework to do last week, and that was to work on your value proposition, which is really an important document in a number of ways. And when I say in a number of ways, it's important to use your value proposition as a way to introduce yourself when you're at a networking event. You can even modify it slightly and use it as an opening statement when you call somebody or a new client when you're doing your prospecting. And the other place I use it is I put it in my business plan. And I also put it on my website. So somebody coming to my website will see, oh, that's what you're about. That's who you serve. Those are the problems or the challenge you solve. Okay, now they know about you, right? So did anybody do their value proposition from last week? And if so, can you put it in the chat? Any if you want to take a couple minutes, to do that, that would be great. So we're using the chat this week as opposed to the Q&A. And if you can put in your value prop, that would be amazing. So it was asking about, who do you serve, right? What's their challenge? And then what was the next one? What have you developed for them? And what's the outcome? So if you can work on that, put it in the chat. We'll give you a couple minutes because we have a lot of ground to cover today. And if not, back in 2 weeks, have it ready then. It's really, I'm telling you, you'll love doing it, and it really is helpful. So I'll give you a couple minutes and I'll just be quiet for a bit. So who do you serve? What's their challenge? What have you developed for them? And what do they get from working with you? Just give you a couple minutes. Should have the Jeopardy theme song playing as you work. I just wrote it in the chat. If you're wanting to work on your value proposition now, the questions that you need to answer are in the chat.
Maybe a couple more seconds, David, and then
Yeah,
we can certainly move on
yeah,
um, and give folks some time to think and maybe jot that down.
yeah. So, I'll give you another like maybe 20 seconds just to work on it if you want to post yours in the chat real quick, and then we'll move on.
Just asking, can folks access the chat?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. Don't see anything there yet, David.
No. Here we go. Yes, thanks, Betty. And thank you. Okay, so that's going to be homework then again for next, like the third week, which will be on the 30th. It's an important business tool. They use it to when they talk about the business model canvas, which is an alternative to a business plan. It's a one-page map of your overall business model, and they use the value proposition as the methodology that connects you to your client and to your client's needs and challenges. So do check it out, and please, 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 for your own benefit, have it ready for the 30th. So welcome to today. We're going to move forward with our 7-step sales process and the EQSP methodology. So we're going to look at knowing your value and benefits. Value proposition, right? Then we'll just review the 7 steps, how to conduct prospecting process more effectively so it doesn't freak you out, how to structure your client sessions, and position yourself as an expert. Sounds good? I hope so. So yeah, so let's get started. And Dawn, I see your note in the chat. I'll have a look at that later. So value proposition, homework again for next week, all right? So in sales, in business, this is another reason I like the value proposition, because in business, when you're, I keep on moving forward by accident. I'm trying to move something over. Here we go. Hang on. There we are. All right. So in business, everything you do starts with a conversation. And good conversations start when you're really clear about communicating the benefits. Even if you did like not that we can afford an ad on radio, but even if you did an ad on radio or on TV or even like a video on your YouTube channel, or a video that you're posting on Facebook or LinkedIn. You want to communicate the benefits. Good advertising talks about the benefits. This is what's in it for you. This is what you're going to get, right? And that's what the value proposition does. It identifies who you work with, what their challenges, and what you've got for them, right? And what they're going to walk away with. If you remember last week, we talked about a organic meal delivery service for busy families who don't have time to cook, and yet they still want all the nutrition. So we've developed a company that delivers organic meals right to your door, that saves you time to work on and tend to the things that matter most, and you get the benefit of your whole family having healthy, nutritious meals delivered right to your door. So that's what gets the attention of other people that you're talking to, right? You always want to lead with your value. What's in it for somebody else? What are the outcomes they're gonna get from working with you? So in order to begin a conversation with any prospect, whether you're at a networking event, or you're minding your trade show table at a trade show, or you're at a conference and you're meeting new people, you've got to let them know what you do for them and share a few key benefits or outcomes your prospect or client would get once they bought your goods or services. So let's look at some examples of this, okay? What are the benefits of Starbucks? Write these down in the chat. What are some benefits of Starbucks? I just use this as an example of a place that's got clear benefits in my view. What is it about Starbucks that you like? Write it down in the chat. Caters to your customized drinks. Thanks, Meladonia. It's trendy, high quality, excellent. Anything else? I like it to. I like the vibe, the atmosphere. It's warm, it's welcoming. They have nice chairs to sit on in some places. Some places they have big leather chairs or even a little couch, right? And the quality is high. I find the service really good. Most times I go, I get really good service. I went on the holiday Sunday for coffee with a colleague, and the woman at the that served us was super helpful. My friend had all these gift cards that she wanted to find out how much balance she had, and what the woman at the cashier or at the cash offered to do was take all the cards, because there were about 10 of them with like $10 each or something, and she put the balances onto one card. So my friend didn't have to shuffle around for different cards. Now she had it all on one, right? So to me, that's great service. That's a benefit of going there. Melodina writes, they have a mobile app you can order online and pick up. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of easy. You don't have to stand in line and wait, and you can make use of their technology. And believe it or not, a company's technology can be a benefit. It makes buying easier. Jean, I'm just going to direct you to Dawn J in the chat. She's asked for the recording from last week, okay? When for later. So yeah, it's really important to, to identify the benefits of working with you. What do people get? What do your customers get from working with you? Or here's another one. What are some benefits of daily exercise? What do you get from exercising? Other than tired or sore, right? Let's see what you wrote in the chat. Healthy lifestyle. Hopefully you live longer. Thanks, Melodina, for sure. More energy, stress management, right? So you see, like, this is what you've got to get across for your business, right? It's going to help you and your customer identify why they should do business with you. Betty Ann writes, it clears your mental space. Yeah, for sure. Gets rid of any anxiety or angst or emotions. When you're bench pressing at the gym, it's like, oh, you can get your frustration or anger out in a more healthy way, right? Todd writes healthy living. Yeah, so those are really good benefits of exercise. So you got to really get clear, what is it that your clients get from working with you? So can you think of 3 key deliverables or benefits or outcomes that you provide your clients? So take a few minutes, maybe 2 minutes, to think of 3 key deliverables, outcomes, or benefits for your business. Betty Ann, you're already writing it in the chat. Yeah, and when you've got these, just write them in the chat. Give you about a minute. Shouldn't take too long. What are 3 key things, outcomes, deliverables, benefits that your clients get from working with you? Another 20 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to check the chat. Whoop. We're working on our own. Sabine writes access to an expert, commitment and loyalty. Melodina, excellent. Betty Ann walks the dog, meets other dog walkers. There's more to it than that. You're probably saving a lot of people time. In terms of if they're a busy working couple, the last thing you want to do at the end of the day is come home and walk the dog, but you're doing that. And also you're socializing with the dog, you're making sure the dog's safe and well and loved and taken care of. Todd writes, have a product they can share with multiple stakeholder groups at the same time to discuss collectively. Okay. Yeah, so good stuff. So really get clear and keep it really simple, right? The old KISS theory, unfortunately. This is related to the S in EQSP. Why? Because in the EQSP process, which we talked about, or methodology, this is the S, which is what problems do you solve? You want to position yourself as a solution provider for your clients or prospects, because it's those solutions that they're going to pay for, want, need, and in some cases, the bigger the problem that you solve, the more money you make, which is kind of cool, right? So yeah, any questions? Everybody good? So we're going to go on now to step 2 in the 7-step sales process. I'm really glad we looked at the value proposition, the outcomes, the benefits that you offer. But the next step is research. And, research in a sales process, you're probably scratching your head and asking, yeah, it's super important. And the reason is there's a lot to know. The more you know about your customers, the better you can serve them. What do you want to know or ask of your customers? So I want you to take another couple minutes and think, if you're about to, approach a prospect or a customer base, what are some things you want to know about them before you even call them or connect or go to a networking meeting or, post something online. What do you want to know about your customers that can help you really facilitate the sale and the relationship developing? Take a couple minutes and think, what do I want to know about my customers and what would I want to ask? So again, take a little bit of work, a little bit of thinking work today. It's a little different. I should have music turned up. So take a few minutes. What are some key things you want to ask? Okay, another 20 seconds. What are some things you want to ask or know? All right, good. We got some answers. Melodina wants to know the industry they're in and how their products and services, help grow their businesses. Todd, what do you want to say through the product? Yeah, what's your message? And who do you want it to? Yeah, who's your message and who's your audience? Right? The two need to align for sure. That's excellent. Betty Ann writes, family dynamic, age of household members, especially if her product is geared to seniors. Yeah, exactly. So that's excellent. So you're pinpointing a market, and and then you're really being clear in terms of what it is you need to know, right? There's other things too, like buying habits, preferences, budgets, timing. When do you need it, right? Often you might make say a prospecting call or meet somebody and they're just not in the market for what it is you're doing just then, right? But what you want to do is you want to build the relationship so that when they are in the market, they're going to come to you, right? So you don't want to be too pushy, but you want to show up as what we're talking about, as a trusted advisor, as a consultant, as somebody that's there to really help your customers go from here to here to get a result that matters to them. And one of the key things in terms of research being the second step is you really need to hone in on asking really good questions of your customer, right? I'd even go so far as to prepare questions ahead of meeting them, or even when you maybe you want to do a market survey, like I use SurveyMonkey as my go-to, and right now actually I just sent out a survey link for a new business I'm working on developing. I want to know before I go what's going on and how can I best serve my clients. What will my messaging be that's going to touch, move, and inspire my customers. So yeah, really important. So we've done this already. So we've looked at some of our benefits, right? In terms of research, we really want to know our not only our customers, but we want to know what's going on with our competitors. Maybe not as much as knowing our customers, but we still need to be aware of what's the What are our competitors doing? Maybe what are they doing that we like, that maybe we can sort of borrow from? Tony Robbins once said, I remember seeing him speak too a few times, and he said, model other businesses' success and then adapt it for your business. So that's really important. Model their success formula and then adapt it for your business. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So, you know, you want to think of like, what are two key things like that are happening with your clients? What are key frustrations and challenges or pain your clients are in? These are some things you want to know about both your customers and your competitors. What's happening in your industry? What are some, remember we said, what are some success stories? Who in your sector is succeeding and why is that? Look at their marketing, look at their messaging, look at how they present themselves and model your business after that, right? Also, what's your competitor's mindset? Are they open to you coming into the marketplace, or are they, you know, not too happy, right? What's their business model? What's their recipe for success? What are they doing that you need to be doing? So don't be afraid to to find out what's going on around you, as well as find out really key information about your customers. You know, what are their frustrations, challenges, and pain? How can you solve it? Remember last week we talked about, you know, pain versus a little bit of, you know, are your customers about getting a fun and enjoyable result, or are they there to, you know, solve a problem, right? So those are two critical things to know, because that's where you can really position yourself to serve your clients best. All right. Any questions, comments? All right, let's continue. So in terms of really knowing your customer, you know, you want to always be a student of the game. Like, first of all, who's your ideal client? That's super important. What are some factors that go into make them your ideal client? You know, for me, it's what's really important for me is relationship, having fun, but getting the job done, right? You know, the old saying from the Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, you know, whistle while you work, right? And you want to work with customers that, you know how to enjoy, but, you know, they're focused on delivering and getting results for your clients. Is there a niche client that you really love to serve? Is there a certain kind of person that you want to work with, right? Or are there maybe a couple of niches? Who's got the greatest need for your services? What are your ideal clients' characteristics? Do they pay on time? Are they open to you working, you know, and helping them? Do they value your ideas and your input? You know, do they recommend referrals to you, right? These are great kind of things to look out for in terms of looking out for some of the traits that make up an ideal client. And the clearer you are, the easier it is for you, because you'll start to subliminally attract them. It's called, if you're clear as to who you're going for, you'll automatically go, oh, that's my ideal client. That's what they look like. That's what they do. That's, you know, that's who they are, right? It activates what's called the reticular activation center in your mind, and you automatically start seeing your ideal client when you're really clear as to what it is you're looking for in them, what it is you're looking for. And I'll give you an example. You can write yes in the chat or absolutely. And if you've ever bought a new car, let's say you buy a blue Toyota, you know, a Corolla. All of a sudden, what do you notice on the road? You notice other blue Toyota Corollas. And that's just your reticular activation center in the brain noticing them, because you've got one now. So if you're really clear as to who your ideal client is, and you got a picture of them in your mind's eye, some companies even go so far as to giving their ideal client a name. What's their age group? What's their, what do they do for a living? What's their lifestyle like? What's their financial status? What do they enjoy doing? What are they reading, listening to? What hobbies? What networking groups do they belong to? What do they do for fun? So the clearer you can get as to identifying who your ideal client is, the easier it is to attract them, right? And how do you attract them? With your messaging, with, hey, is this you? We have something I think that you're going to really like, okay? Here are the results we get for people just like you. If you want those, let's talk, let's meet, right? It's that simple. So also get really clear as to what your client's challenges and problems are that you solve, right? You want to position yourself as that trusted advisor who's there to solve problems and challenges for your clients or help them get a result that they want, right? At a price that's going to work for you. Any questions, comments? All right, let's continue on. I want you to think about this and actually answer this in the chat. What are some natural markets for you to work with or pursue? Maybe it's, the seniors market with dogs, right? Dog owners. And they're, they have maybe mobility issues. And so they're not really keen on walking the dog so much, right? Or who do you like to work with in terms of helping to bring value and benefits to them? What industries maybe, if you're B2B, what industries interest you? What are you passionate about? What's maybe the change you want to see have happen in the world? Maybe that's what you get behind. So take a few minutes and see if you can answer some of these. And it's, again, put them in the chat and I'll review them. Betty Ann writes as a book publisher in schools and libraries. Yeah, that's a a very vibrant and big market. Look at all the libraries. Every town, city has a library. Years ago, I was in a very and as you write this, I'll just share this story. Years ago, I was in a very different industry. I was in promotional marketing and merchandise for companies they would use in their marketing and promotions campaign. When I was just starting out, I had a list of clients to call on. But as I, grew and developed, by the second year, I started to hone in on two industry sectors to focus on. One was packaged goods companies. So what's a packaged good company? Anything you buy at the grocery store or the drugstore, right? Or a variety store. So some of my clients were like Campbell Soup, Maple Leaf Foods International, meats. Leaf Confections out of Scarborough. They made bubble gum and remember Maltesers. Yeah, so I would call on that industry, but I would also call on tech companies. And the reason, for tech companies is I had my then wife was in that industry, and she would give me all kinds of information about the tech industry and who was doing what and so on and so forth. So I wasn't just selling what I was doing. I wasn't just selling like products or marketing, materials. I was selling ideas and campaigns that would work to help the client achieve the results they wanted. But why? Because I knew what was going on. I knew what mattered to companies in the packaged goods industry. What mattered to them was shelf space, increased sales, good marketing, and just, people buying that product over, a competing product. So they spent a lot of money on, let's say, in-store displays and even merchandise giveaways, or, collect 5 coupons and mail it in and you'll get a free, inflatable ketchup bottle, for example, right? So, they would order products and services from us that helped them get and achieve that aim. So it wasn't about, oh, I have this product for you. No, it was about, I have this idea that's going to help you achieve your goals. If you're interested in that, let's meet, right? And it was the same with tech companies. Tech companies, one of my clients then was Microsoft, and they would have a huge trade show at the convention center, which led into the floor of Rogers Center at the time. And they would put on this huge, they were part of this huge trade show called Comdex at the time. And they had a, great space, and we did clothing for them, and, laptop bags and all kinds of stuff for their event. And it's just, the more, about your customer, the better you can serve them. So it's not just about what it is you do, it's about what you do for them. Anybody else have any answers on this? Any other industries, sectors, ideal clients? Yeah, Melodina writes, companies that have a sustainability program contributing to a healthy environment. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so really have a picture of, in your mind's eye, of your ideal client, and really get to know them better. I talked about the importance of niching, and this is another really important aspect in helping you attract the perfect customer, right? So a niche, well, first of all, a market, you got to know the markets. Where are you playing? Who are you selling to? So I gave you 2 examples of industry or business to business examples. So are you a company that's doing business in the nonprofit sector? These are organizations, of course, that solve social economic issues and hire people to help them meet their goals for funders and those that they serve. Or are you in the business to business or industrial market, where they would order goods and services for helping them do business on a day-to-day basis, right? So if they're manufacturing something, they'll order widgets to make a product, right? Or if they're let's say they're a lawyer, then they're going to need to train their people as to how to do business and do law and practice law, right? And then they're going to hire support people in that law firm to help everything flow smoothly, right? So are you in the nonprofit sector? Are you in the B2B, the industrial market, right? And again, they use products and services to help drive their business forward. Are you in the retail sector? So this is that packaged goods industry I mentioned. So are you selling to the retail sector, or are you selling direct to customers? Maybe you're at a trade show for seniors, and you've got a table, and you're talking about dog walking and pet care and other services for seniors. So get clear as to what sector do you want to play in. Do you want to be selling direct to customers, or are you in the reseller market? This is a very lucrative market, and This is where you're selling to middlemen, intermediaries such as wholesalers and retailers who buy your product and resell them for a profit. So like that's what, that packaged goods industry, they sell their products to retailers. The retailers then sell or promote their products. So as a packaged good company, they want to make sure that the stores are open to promoting them. Because boy, I'll tell you that you don't see this, but there's a fight going on in every grocery store. And that fight it's over shelf space. So the ideal shelf space, and companies, these packaged good companies, spend a lot of money on this. The ideal shelf space is at eye level. Chances are, if the product you're going to buy at the store is at eye level, you're going to reach it. If it's down below, you're probably not going to bend over and get that product. You're going to buy the one that's easy to get. It's at eye level. You see it, it's clear. And you'll see, like, go to a store next time and look at, some of the products that are at eye level, and then what are the ones below or off to the side, right? It's interesting. And usually the ones that are at eye level are the ones that are spending a little bit of money on marketing and promotion, to say the least. Any questions from anybody? Are we all good? I hope you're learning a few things. So once we now know like where we're playing, like what sector we're in, and you could be in two very easily. You can be in the industrial market as well as the reseller market. Another example of reseller is like, you don't go to GM in Oshawa and knock on their door, their head office, and say, yeah, I want to buy a car. They're going to send you to a wholesaler or a dealer. They have a dealer network where you buy the car from, right? That's another example. So once you're clear as to where you're going to fit, like what sector are you going to fit in, now you want to position yourself as a solution provider, as an idea person. You want to position yourself as a specialist in your field. Remember what I said about knowing the packaged goods industry and knowing what made them tick, knowing what their motivation was in terms of buying the products and services we sold. It wasn't about the actual thing we sold, it was about what's that thing going to do for them, right? And also, position yourself as a strategic ally to your prospect. You're there to give somebody value, ideas, advice, wisdom. Share your gifts. We all have it. You know what you're doing. You have to trust what you're doing and share it with your customers, right? And again, know that your sales and marketing conversations go deeper and deliver a message of value. Here's what we do for you. Here are the results we have. Here's how we're going to take you from here to here, or get you out of pain and into a more pleasurable outcome, right? So you got to understand the marketplace and what people are demanding. All right, we're doing really well. Everybody want to just take a quick stretch, like raise your arms and just go, whatever, for a moment. Just breathe. And I'm going to share a case study with you. And this is actually a true story. This is a client of mine from a number of years ago. She was in an entrepreneur training program that the province of Ontario and Employment Ontario were offering. And she was doing business where it was, you've heard of mindfulness. So she was offering mindfulness classes, meditation, ways to de-stress. She even developed meditations that you could buy like a CD or access it online. So she did one-on-one stress management coaching as well. So this is a true story. She came in for a coaching session. She said, I'm not getting any results from my marketing. And I said, well, what's your message? Well, I go to the networking events, and because that's what, she could afford. And I just tell them, like if you're stressed out, I do, this and this to help you manage your stress, right? And I went, okay. And I said, and that's not landing, obviously. No, because nobody's coming up to me, or very few people are. So I said, her name is Pamela. I said, Pamela, let's dig a little deeper into your market. I said, who are you talking to at these events? Well, they're women 25 to 55. And I went, okay. So your message isn't landing. Yeah, it's not, no, they're not interested. So we went, I went up to the front of this boardroom we were meeting in, and there was flip chart paper, and I drew a big circle, right? Like a big piece of pie, pumpkin pie, since we just had it on the weekend. And I asked Pam, I said, so in this group of 25 to 55-year-old women, who's got the most stress, right? And we came up with about 12 answers. So we were dividing the pie, like as to who had the most stress, right? We came up with about 12 different answers. I said, okay, what are 2 to maybe 4 max in terms of of these women, these different groups of women that have the most stress? And we determined that single working women with kids had a lot of stress. Would you agree? Yeah, so you're single, you're working, maybe you're commuting on top of it, and you're raising a family on your own. The next group was single self-employed, no stress there, right? Running your own business with kids. So that's another group that had maybe a little extra stress. The other 2 groups were married, and you'll see in my chart here, married, working, or married with kids, working, and older parents. Oh boy, you got a lot of things to take care of, right? No time for yourself. You're a little stressed. And then married with kids, commuting to work. That's and she was in Durham region. So, the commute to Toronto every day, whether you're driving or you're go training it, it's a good hour each way. So that's 2 hours out of your life every day, Monday to Friday. So she decided she was going to focus on a couple of these. And one was married with kids, working, and older parents, and then single self-employed with kids, right? So now she would go to the networking event, and she had announced herself. She said she would start like this. Are you, single? Are you self-employed, running your own business? And are you a single parent? The stress of running a business, let alone taking care of a family all by yourself? What I do is, so she identified the problem in the market. What I do is I help you get your life back. I do meditation classes. I do one-on-one group sessions on mindfulness to help you practice mindfulness, to help you relax and, have your energy and keep your calm in the midst of your, hectic lifestyle. And I have meditation CDs that I brought for you today, if you want any, to buy any, that helps you relax and get your energy and your life back every day. I'm Pamela, and she called herself, I'm your anti-stress, right? And you know what happened at that networking event that didn't happen before? About 5 single self-employed women would come up to her and say, can I get a CD? Can I get your card? Why? Any ideas? Because she was identifying a niche, identifying the problems. She knew the customer, and she had something that was going to help them get their life and their stress in order. Yeah? Yeah, Gabriel writes in the chat, it resonated with them. Excellent, thank you. It resonated with them. That's what your marketing and your messaging has to do. That's why knowing your customer, doing that research, and even, niching is going to help you. So real quick, why does segmenting, I'm being mindful of the time, why does segmenting or niching her market, why did that help Pamela? How did it help her? Why does niching or segmenting her market, because this is what we did, she was calling on this big, huge market, woman 25 to 55, but then we chunked it down and we segmented. Why did that help her? And why does niching help her? Just seeing. Yeah, niching helps you talk to your ideal customer. You're more effective in your marketing and your message, Don writes. Excellent. Focus your energy on people who are likely to buy. Totally, right? And as I said, Gabrielle, right, it resonated with them. And that's why it's really important as you move forward from these sessions, and today and last week and our third on the 30th, that you start to think of, okay, maybe I need to divvy up my market or segment them. And that's why it's also important to know where you're playing. Are you industrial? Are you business to business? Are you wholesale? Are you, working with nonprofits? Are you working directly with customers? Or, so it's really important to know what you're about. And, think of some segments you can work with moving forward from today, or a niche that you really like to work with. I gave you an example of, working with packaged good companies and working with tech companies. You know what? There's so many industries and companies in the city I could have worked with, but I chose those two. Not that I worked with a ton of them. I could only manage a certain amount. By the way, here's a little fact. There's over 80,000 businesses in the GTA. So if you're kind of thinking, yeah, but there's not enough companies, keep going. There's a lot of businesses. And I say GTA because I include like Durham region, Peel region, that kind of thing as well in the mix. All right, we're doing really well. We're moving forward nicely today. So remember that sales starts, we talked about this at the beginning. It's all about having compelling conversations. Know your value, know your clients, know your competitors. What are they doing and not doing? And where are some gaps and opportunities for you? Know the benefits of your offering and communicate them. Know that value. So we've talked about that and you've written about that in the chat today. That's excellent. Learn to fascinate your products. Don't be bland or boring. Have fun, add intrigue, mystery, engage. Make buying from you fun and an experience. A lot of winning companies are focused not just on customer care, which is super important, but they're focused on the experience, right? What's the experience, a customer is going to get from working with you? I'm reminded of a place, a good place to go for a bite, and it's Jack Astor's. And they sit you down at your table and they give you crayons and they have the big brown paper on the table and you can start coloring and doodling things, right? They serve peanuts at the bar, and in the shells. You can just drop it on the floor. They'll clean it up after, right? Look, that's an experience. And the service, by the way, is really darn good from my experience. So that's about fascinating people, having fun, adding a little mystery, engaging your customers, and connect with them. Don't be afraid of people. They need you as much as you need them. All right, I got a little homework for next week. So we got now 2 bits of homework. So the first is, do your value proposition. The next thing is, we're going to prepare, it's very close to your value proposition actually. So this shouldn't take long. With your value proposition and this, it won't take long. So one of the keys to getting customers is prospecting. And the old thing of prospecting calls or cold calls. Here's a methodology I use that works. And it's very similar, as I said, to your value proposition. So I want you to work on this for next week and simply state who you are. So I'm Joe, right? Where are you from? I'm from XYZ Real Estate. And what do? We help you sell your home when you're ready to sell it faster and for more money. right? So you're going to tell them what you do, and then you're going to share those 1 to 2 key benefits. We're going to help you sell your home faster and for more money, right? And then ask them if that's a result that they like, would you like, when you're ready to sell your home, would you want that result? Yes, I would. Would it be possible then to meet and show you how we do that and how our, real estate program works for the clients we serve? Yeah, I would be. Great. How would next Tuesday at 2 be? Do you know that that's all you have to say when you speak to somebody on the phone or a prospective buyer on the phone? This is all you have to say. If you actually go longer than that, they're gonna hang up on you. You have actually 10 seconds in which to convey your message when you're using the phone as a business tool. And believe me, it still works if you're smart with it. So I want you to work on this for next week, okay? You can write it down if you want. That's your homework. All right, and this does work, and the goal is not to sell, it's to get a meeting. That's the goal of prospecting or networking or posting on social media. It's to get a face-to-face meeting with somebody that's interested in what it is you do, so that you can go in and find out more about them as to how you can serve them and what to charge them. So let's continue on, because we're got to be mindful of our time. We've got Waypoint coming in momentarily. So the next step in the 7-step sales process, so we've got be prepared, research, prospect. It's find leads, right? That's the goal of prospect. You want to find leads. People or companies or organizations that might be open to what it is you do. Right? You're not going to make a sale here, but you want to see if there's an opportunity to work together, and if they're interested in you and you feel that you can serve them. You want to identify your ideal client. We talked about that. You want to maybe even niche. You want to maybe do your homework on them, find out ahead of time, or send a survey, right? Find out a little information about your customers, so that when you do talk to them, or maybe about their industry. Hey, Joe, did you know that companies in your field are going through this situation? What we do is we help companies solve that problem, and if that's a result you'd like, I'd like to meet with you. This is all we need to say when we speak to somebody for the first time, right? So prospecting is super important. It keeps the jug filled, right? Yeah, and then you start to reach out and market to your prospective buyer, and the goal is to have a meeting, right? You just want to meet and find out more about them, and to see if both of you are a good fit to work together. So, yeah, any questions on what we learned today? Any questions about research or prospecting? Any questions, comments? Are we good?
No questions in the chat, David.
Okay, so, we're here for you. If you need, I got one.
There's a question came in.
Okay, yeah, excellent. All right, so, quick question, Don writes, how can we get trending info on buyer behavior? I'm going to suggest 2 things, okay? I'm going to write this in the chat, all right, for everybody. So I'm going to everyone. So Don, one way is to tap into market research companies here in Canada. So one that comes to mind is Environics, Environics, and they have another sort of website called prism.com, and what that does is it's a market research tool where you type in your postal code and it'll give you the demographic information on buyers in that postal code. And it even talks about, or shares in that site Prism, what their sort of what demographics are, what age groups, what do they like to do, socially, or what kind of work they're into, what's their education background. That's one place to look. Another place to look is the City of Toronto, toronto.ca, and you go to the small business section or doing business, and or just Google ward profiles Toronto, and it'll tap you into the City of Toronto site where they have all the ward profiles listed, and you click on the ward profile that best suits you, and you'll get all kinds of information. It's based on the census. So these ward profiles might not be the most current, but it's based on a census that took place in 2021, which is pretty good. And that gives you demographic information, the age, the dwellings, the income, languages spoken, oh my God, education, the sexuality, are they male, female kind of thing, age ranges, like maybe it's really a heavy area with 30 to 40-year-olds, and it's called ward profiles. Thanks, Don. And that'll also give you great information. And lastly, and I'm going to write this in the chat, lastly, there's out of the US, there's a site called smartbrief.com, smartbrief.com, or smart briefs. And what you do is you go onto that site, and they have over 100 industry types, probably more now, listed. And then what you do is you subscribe to your industry type, and they'll send you a new a smart brief every day in your email box of the industry type you selected. So let's say you're in the food sector. So they'll send you a smart brief which contains about 4 or 5 articles on the food sector every day in your email box. Right? Now, it does skew more American, but believe me, what's going on there is going on here, just on a smaller scale. Okay? So I'll just type it in, ward profiles, Toronto. Yeah, so those are a few places to look. Also toronto.ca, which is the city's website, and oh yeah, Prism 5. Oh, and other market research companies like Ipsos Reid, Angus Reid, they also publish their studies and research reports on their site. So they do a lot of what do Canadians think, right, of various issues, and they publish these. So that's another place to go for research. So there's Prism 5, and then, as I said, Environics. I'll just type it in. Any other questions, comments? So just again to recap, so we looked at getting prepared. We looked at the power of a niche. We looked at research. We looked at being prepared with questions. What do we want to know about our customers? Doing your market research. Research being a huge step. And next week we're going to look at having your first meeting with the client. We're going to look at presentations and proposals, and then nurturing the relationship as well with the client, so that we really do have a client for life, which is really a goal. Yeah.
So just a slight correction, David. So it's on October 30th. So
30th, sorry, yes, thank you.
That's when the next session will be. But I also want you to, if you can you share how people can get in contact with you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, and I put all the things in the, I just want one more resource for market research. Market research is really important. Believe it or not, you do a little bit like every week, like Monday, you'll be cooking along. Here's where you get a hold of me. And I'm also on LinkedIn. You can add me on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's it for today. I think we have enough time for a stretch break and then the
Yeah.
team from Waypoint. So thank you, everybody. And
All
we'll
right.
see
Thank
you
you
on the
so much.
30th.
Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it. I want to say a big thank you to David from Your Big Venture for providing such a comprehensive overview regarding boosting your sales for your business and the purpose of sales. And I thank you, David, for delving really deep into those key points, the prospecting and so forth, that people can have a deeper understanding. So thank you, David. As you can see, David contact information is on the screen, so please jot that down. So just for time's sake, we want to introduce our next presenters. Our next presenters are WagePoint. And WagePoint is a company and organization which provides payroll solutions to small businesses. Our guest speakers are Jeff DiCarlo, and Jeff handles the credit union member program for WagePoint, and Kelly Lowen, manage partner onboarding. So I want to give a warm welcome to the WagePoint team. And no further ado, I now hand it over to Jeff and Kelly. Thank you.
Hi, Jean, and everybody. Thank you for that warm introduction, and it's nice to be here. I am a partner specialist, as Jean mentioned, so I support credit unions across the country and partnering with them to provide our services to members at a preferred rate. And I've been with the company since May of last year. Kelly?
Thanks, Jeff. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Lowen. I'm here as a partner onboarding specialist. I'm going to show you a little demo of WagePoint so you can see how it can help save you time and money.
Perfect. So maybe we can jump to the next slide. Okay, so just really quickly, a bit of background about who we are. So we did just recently partner with Alterna, and that happened in the early summer of this year. So we are a cloud-based payroll solution. And really at the core of what we do, folks, is we simplify payroll to give you back time so that you can focus on other things with regards to, running your small business. You likely didn't get into your field of work to do payroll. And our solution here is meant to be very simple, intuitive, user-friendly, allow you to get your payroll done, make sure that you're compliant, everything has been, submitted to CRA as it should be, and you can just kind of not worry about anything. We just kind of take care of all that for you. On the right-hand side is just our customer service scores, and we'd like to highlight this just to show that, when you do choose us as your payroll solution provider, you're in good hands in terms of the customer service that we provide. So we can move to the next slide. Just really quickly, some facts about us. So we've been in the business since 2012. We serve over 25,000 small businesses across the country. We'll do anywhere between 10 to 12 billion in payroll processing annually. We do have accounting software integration with QuickBooks and Xero. Security is always a big thing for folks, and we take it quite seriously here on our side. So we follow the highest levels of encryption. We're 1 and 2 compliant, and all of our data is stored here in Canada. We are working with several organizations across the country in terms of credit unions, and as well as folks like KPMG, MMP, Grant Thornton, and so on there. So well established. We can move to the next slide. Yeah. So markets we serve, you name it. Basically, if you're a small business, we can help you. So you might have a cafe, hair salon, restaurant, whatever it might be. Maybe you're a non-for-profit. Again, we can support you. Charity, cannabis companies, accountants and bookkeepers, we work very closely with and have a specific program for those folks. We can support co-op housing. And you have unions on there as well. And that, again, is asterisk simply because some of the calculations are unique to unions. And so we have those completed outside the system, and then you can input your figures as you need. And just some core features. So we can do direct deposit on your behalf, and that can go into 4 bank accounts for an employee. So if they have, a setup of accounts and they want their pay dispersed to that, we can take care of that for them. All your government tax remittances, we take care of. Year-end forms such as T4s, T4As, again, is all produced by our system. There's no extra charge for any of these things here. We can produce the records of employment, and it's streamlined into Service Canada as well. So it really does simplify that aspect of record keeping and payroll. And then we offer a secure employee payroll portal. And that just allows, employees to go in, they can update information, they can see their pay stubs, they can see their T4s, all their important information is there. Nothing's being sent via email. And over to Kelly. Oh, you're on mute, Kelly.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll just share my screen here. Okay, so I just want to highlight, kind of some of the few things that Jeff had highlighted. So we can pay the employees by direct deposit and take care of the tax remittances. So I'm gonna do a payroll run and just show you like how quick and easy it can be. So we're gonna run our weekly payroll here. We're gonna confirm the pay period and the pay dates. Now I do have flexibility to change that date, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm processing it by the deadline here, which it lets you know what your deadline is. And then we're going to be using that direct deposit and remit taxes section. So we, can turn those off if you'd prefer to make those payments yourself, but WagePoint taking care of it is obviously a huge benefit. So we're going to leave those on, and we're going to go ahead and continue. So the next step is where you'll enter in your hours for your employees. If you have salary employees, it'll all just be here ready for you. But if you have any hourly employees, we're going to want to enter in their regular overtime and any other additional income they might have. Maybe if she's taken some vacation time, we can go ahead and add that on. And we can go ahead and add any other additional incomes. Maybe she's got some commission pay we want to add this time, and we're going to give her a bonus because she did such a great job. So we'll go ahead and add that. So as you can see, it's super easy to just kind of quickly go through this process. We have our deductions, which are, our recurring benefits we have that are already set up to calculate. But, we can also add any additional deductions we might want. Maybe we sent her an advance earlier in the week. She needed some money. So we're going to just deduct that off her pay right now. So as you can see, it's that easy to just basically go through, enter anything in. We have a contractor here. WagePoint can pay both employees and contractors. So if you have your contractor, of course, it's not going to calculate any tax because they're a contractor, but we can still pay them directly into their bank account. And you'll get a T4 for an employee at the year end, and you'll get a T4A for a contractor at year end. So we can go ahead and exclude them if we're not paying them this time. Let's add a few more hours here. We have some salaried people that are already generated. Anyone who's not being paid, you can basically just exclude them. And then we also have the option if we have a person who's always working the same number of hours, they're hourly, but she's in the office and she's always full time, we just have that populate for us like that. So we're going to go ahead and continue. The tax is going to calculate for us. So all the CRA taxes based off of the legislatively compliant tax tables, all done for you. So we can go ahead and review that and then continue to the last step, which is just our review and approve screen. We can see exactly how much is going to be debited from my bank account for this payroll and on what day. So for this November pay date, it's going to be debited on the 29th, and it's going to be exactly this much. We have a couple people being paid manually by check, so we're going to have to write them a check or do an e-transfer. But if we want to add direct deposit information for them, didn't add it before, we can always add it now. We can go ahead and enter their banking info and save that. Or we can change everybody to check if we'd like to do everyone manually. And so you can see when I change that person to check there, it has updated my balance. So I know that it's actually this amount that's going to be coming out if we're not doing that direct deposit. We can review the details, of course, looking at the preview payroll register and seeing all those details. That's great. We can definitely do a review of everything. And then once everything's looking good, we can go ahead and approve that payroll. And that's it, you're done. Like, so it can be as quick as that. You can sign off and move on to what you need to do for your business. Now WagePoint's taking care of paying those employees, and WagePoint's taking care of remitting those taxes. So you don't have to worry about those tax deadlines. Those are guaranteed to be paid on time. And yeah, it's just a good stress-free solution. So at this point here, it's just letting us know a little totals. So out of that amount that we're going to be debiting, what that's made up of, and then just some payments we need to make manually. We can also undo this payroll if we need to make a change. Up till the 29th, we can undo it and then just resubmit it. So it's just that easy. Now I can also run ROEs, as Jeff had mentioned, on the system. So if we're terminating somebody, we can go ahead and generate that ROE right on WagePoint. We don't even have to leave WagePoint and go to Service Canada's website. We're just going to do that right here.
And there's a question as well about a scheduling feature.
So WagePoint itself doesn't have a scheduling feature, but we do have this awesome add-on, which is called Time by WagePoint. This is for time tracking and scheduling. So you would basically have this as a separate app. Employees would have the app on their phone. They can punch in and out. They can see their schedules. They can do things like shift swapping. You could post an open shift and have employees be able to take that shift. There's a lot of really cool features that are found within this time application. So it is a separate app, but they work hand in hand really well together. This can save you tons of time. So, you know, there is an additional monthly cost, but the amount of time that it does save you can more than make up for that, because you're not tracking down timesheets, adding things up manually, chasing down, you know, managers for approvals. It's all just done right on the cloud, right in this app. So super cool. That can also help you manage time off requests as well. So people want to, you know, submit a vacation request, you can approve it right there. Yeah, so that's to answer that question. If you are using time tracking when you run payroll, you'll just import all that time. So it'll import the hours that the employees worked, any overtime will calculate for you, and it'll also import vacation time if they've taken vacation and things like that. Stat holiday hours. Yeah, great question. So yes, the system can calculate that stat holiday pay for you. So if we're running a payroll where there's a stat in that pay period, the system is going to calculate that prorated stat pay for your hourly employees for you. Now you'll find that in the settings here, just under statutory holidays. So you can see which holidays we're going to calculate for. So it is going to look at your province of employment for your employees and apply the appropriate stat holidays based off of the province that they're in. So for example, if I'm running payroll for August 5th, it's only going to calculate a stat holiday for any BC employees, right? Not any other employees. So it is smart in that way. And you can either set it to generate a federal calculation. So that's going to be that prorated stat pay based off of their previous 4 weeks of work, or you can just set it to a flat rate. So if you want everyone to get 8 hours or whatever hours, you could also do it that way. Now, WagePoint can also calculate and remit the workers' compensation for you. So this is optional, but because workers' compensation does use employee data, you know, the amount that they've worked, the system can actually calculate those premiums for you. So we can either calculate them and just let you know how much that you need to remit, or we can actually calculate and remit them directly to WCB agency for you. So yeah, so that can take care of that for you as well. If you happen to be in Ontario as well, we can also take care of the EHT. And for BC companies, we can also calculate that EHT as well. So that employer tax that's in addition to the regular payroll taxes. Yeah. Okay. And so, yeah, so Jeff mentioned we have some employee self-onboarding options, which is really cool. So when we're adding a person, we can actually have the person populate some of that information themselves. So they can populate their own address, you know, emergency contact information, tax information. If we'd like to give them the ability to, we can allow them to add their own banking as well and their own social insurance number. Default is to not allow them to do that for, you know, privacy reasons, security reasons. But if you want to allow them to, just check that off in the settings, and they'll be able to add all that themselves. So you don't have to key in all that information yourself. It can have the employees help you populate that data for you. So they'll get an invitation to the portal, their employee portal, and they'll populate that information, save it, and it'll fill it into their profile here for you. And then once you're running payroll, they'll be able to go into that same portal and get their pay stubs, and they can actually get their T4s at year end too. So you don't even have to worry about sending out T4s. It's going to be done right on the app. You don't get those late night phone calls from an employee who needs a pay stub last minute for a bank appointment that they have tomorrow. they can actually just get it themselves 24/7 on their portal.
Kelly, we have another question. How would it work
Perfect.
for an accountant with multiple payroll accounts? Is it a separate login for each client?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So we actually do have a partner program for bookkeepers and accountants who do work with multiple clients. So they would have a single sign-on. They would receive a partner dashboard, which would basically allow them to see all their clients. And then they can just hop between different clients and run payroll for all of their different clients. Or maybe they just need access to the reports for all those clients and the clients themselves are doing the payroll. So that option is there as well. So yeah, accountants or bookkeepers, we definitely do have an option for you as well. So definitely reach out. Um, yeah, the reporting features in general, just the reports here. There's a whole bunch of reports available. You can get these reports here as soon as you approve that payroll. So you can have your taxes, workers' compensation, earnings and deductions and benefits. And then we have access to the pay stubs on the client side here. As I mentioned, they can get their own pay stubs, but you also can see them. And then we have some other reports here that are more related to money movement. So once that payroll is finalized, it'll show you the funds that we've withdrawn and a summary of those deposits that have been made to the employees. So for all of these reports, you are able to filter them by different locations if you have them, different departments, and by person. And we can look at the per pay period, or we can actually do a custom date range or year to date. So we can look at, for example, if we wanted to see all the pay stubs for one particular employee for the whole year, we would just generate it like that. Perfect. So yeah, and then just to basically kind of highlight, it's meant to be really simple and easy to use. You don't have to know a ton about payroll to be able to use this. It guides you through. So when you're onboarding and you're setting up your new account, it's going to guide you through all of the steps that you need to set up. And we do also have onboarding support one-on-one, as like someone like myself or one of my team members will help answer any questions, get on a meeting with you and answer questions or demonstrate how things work and just help you get that account set up so that you're not alone in that process. We really will help guide you through everything. Once you're active and running, we also do have a chat option. So you can do a live chat with an agent, ask any questions that you have, or, you can always reach out to support by email. And then we have a couple of really good learning resources. So if you just need to know maybe a specific question, maybe you're doing an ROE and you want to just know how to do that. If you look in the knowledge base and search for ROE, you'll find videos on how to do everything or step-by-step articles as well. So depending on if you prefer to watch a video or read that article, can guide you through how to do everything. And yeah, the whole point is really just to save you time. The whole application is just designed to basically be efficient. You don't have to jump around to different websites and different logins. You can just do everything here, done, and it's done. And then you can get back to what you're actually doing and you're running your company. Yeah. So any other questions or does anyone want to see anything in a little bit more detail? We have a couple minutes left.
Hi, Kelly. I have a question. A lot of small business believe that you need to have more than 10 employees in order to use WagePoint. Can you talk a little bit more about if an entrepreneur have less than 5 employees, maybe it's just themselves and they have
Mhm.
to start paying themselves? How is this a great tool for them to use to get started to, have that payroll process in place?
Exactly. No, Jean, that's a great question. Thanks so much. So the average number of employees in a wage point company is actually 10 employees, which means there's just as many that are under 10 as there are over 10. In fact, we have a lot of companies who are just sole proprietors. Maybe it's just themselves and one employee or none. The benefit is that we're still taking care of all those tax deadlines for you and dealing with that direct deposit. It's a lot of manual work doing those e-transfers, making sure you meet those CRA deadlines. So really the benefit is there, whether as few of employees you have. And another benefit to getting started is you never know when you're going to get more employees and you kind of want to be ready to go, have that payroll account going. It's all ready to go when you need to hire somebody. You can just get up and running, right? So there's another reason to kind of get going. There's no limit to the size either. So if you're more than 10 employees, we have clients that are up to 100 employees, so it does cover really everybody in that case. Every small business that needs payroll can be using WagePoint.
Hmm. I think that's an excellent, excellent service right there. Is there any questions? Questions can go in the chat if you have any questions.
Yeah, payroll is definitely it can be confusing, and that's why it's nice to have a soft service like this. So you have friends in payroll that we have tons of payroll experience. You can ask questions if you're not sure what you need to do, and we can always provide resources or guide you in the right direction to make those decisions with an informed basis.
I love the fact that you have that demo section where you could go in and look at a demo and sort of play through to get sort of familiar with the platform. So I really, really love that. And if anyone want to take advantage of WagePoint, you can do a live chat with someone. You can talk to someone in real time. You could go
Yes.
on the demo. So there's so much, great addition to the WagePoint platform for you to take
Exactly.
advantage of. Any questions? So I think
Uh,
there's a question here. What's the difference between using WagePoint through Alterna versus contacting directly?
Yeah,
So I can slightly answer that and then I'll throw it over to Jeff.
sure.
So to use WagePoint, we don't have the platform directly. We are just the connector to WagePoint. So if you're an Alterna member and you would like to have this service and you let us know, we do a referral over to WagePoint and then they will take it from there and walk you through. And then I'll just throw it over to Jeff and Kelly to add a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the main advantage of going through Alterna is when you do that, you receive an ongoing discount through the partnership that we have with Alterna. So that's 10% off your monthly fee and your fee per employee. And this isn't this is a discount that's ongoing. So it's not for a few months or that sort of thing. As long as you're a member of Alterna and we're partnered with Alterna, you're receiving that discount. If you come to us directly, you wouldn't be getting that preferred pricing. So that's the big sort of differentiator there.
Yeah.
Great question, though. Thank you for that. All right. Any more questions before we go? We still have a couple minutes to go. I think this was such a great comprehensive overview of the WagePoint services and platform. I want to thank the WagePoint team for providing the benefits of their payroll, time tracking, and people management solutions for small businesses. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the Alterna Community Microfinance team directly at microfinance@alterna.ca. We can certainly connect you to the WagePoint team or to David Cohen or earlier facilitator. So we want to thank you today. And I just want to say we do have part 3 of the sales webinar coming up on October 30th. So please stay tuned. We still have some time to go in the Small Business Month. And thank you for your time today. And thank you for our 2 facilitators, David and the WagePoint team. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.